The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
This is Denise Nostrom, CEO and founder of Diversified Financial Solutions. Now more than ever, investment advice is needed. Not just where best to invest your money, but why. Are you investing for your future retirement? Are you retired and looking to maximize your income? Are you maximizing your income and concerned with leaving money for your loved ones? Are you investing for your retirement at the same time saving for your children's education and at the same time saving to buy another home? Are the markets in line with your goals? Are your goals ever changing? Please contact me at 631-758-8691. That's 631-758-8691, or visit us at diversifiedfinancial.biz. For over 25 years, I have been helping individuals, families, and business owners navigate through all market conditions with only one goal in mind, my clients. Visit me at diversifiedfinancial.biz or call Denise Nostrom, founder of Diversified Financial Solutions, at 631-758-8691. That's 631-758-8691 for a conversation about my most important client, you. Hello, thank you for tuning in today to spend some time with me on this beautiful Friday afternoon. What a day it was. You are listening to The Financial Chick Show, and I am The Financial Chick. My name is Denise Nostrom, the CEO and owner of Diversified Financial Solutions, a full-service independent financial planning firm located in Medford. Your Financial Chick is here to help you make better financial decisions and choices to improve your life and reduce your anxiety and stress about money. If you want to know more about me or my firm, you can also check out my website at financialchickshow.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at Diversified Financial Solutions, so like our pages and get updates and see what is happening. So I want to begin first. I want to wish my daughter a happy birthday. Turned 17. It was actually yesterday, but I want to give her a shout out live here on the air. And we also had some extremely exciting news today. She actually passed her road test. So a lot of fun things in the household. So we're ready to go into a really fun weekend. But I am really happy today because I have some guests with me in the studio. So I'd like to introduce Mary Calamia, who is a repeat guest, but wearing a different hat today. So we're going to learn more about that. And Gina Zola, who is the owner of Northshore Properties Realty. So ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I'm so glad you're here. So let's begin first about telling my listeners a little bit about you and what you do.
Okay.
Gina, you want to start?
Sure. My name is Gina Lollo. I'm the broker-owner of Northshore Properties Realty. We're located in Setauket. We are a boutique-style real estate company, so it's a much smaller, more hands-on type of environment, and we're like a family. So that's it.
All right. I love it. I love it. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Mary, you've been on the show before with your other hat, but you have a new hat. Like you said that it's never too late to do something big and different.
That's
so what are you doing?
That's right. So now I am an agent in part of Gina's family in her realty. And she's right. It's a family-like environment. So everybody's very hands-on. We all know all of the listings. We know all of the clients. Everybody works together to get, houses sold, find buyers' homes. Mm-hmm. And it's a really great environment.
I love it. Awesome. Well, very similar to my firm too, independent or boutique, right? Where it's small and there's intimacy. And sometimes you have these big firms and you kind of get lost in the shuffle.
Right.
So real estate, my gosh. So that's a really big topic. We can go so many different directions, right?
But talk for days.
But I guess we'll start with, we were talking a little bit before the show that what's interesting is that interest rates, the Fed funds target rate, March of last year was 0.25, and that kind of determines what mortgage rates are. And now we're at a whopping 5.25 as of this past week. So, mortgage rates are much higher, right?
Absolutely.
But now, have you seen any change in the real estate market?
There was a small dip.
Okay.
In people being a little bit more cautious and wanting to make that move. Mm-hmm. But the spring market, I have found, has been phenomenal. And we attribute it because there's so much little bit of inventory available for all of the active buyers that are out there. So there's 50 buyers to the one house that's on sale.
Right.
So it's still pushing, and it's actually pushing the values up continually. So that's what we have found.
Right,
so,
right.
We thought maybe that would be a little bit of a stalemate, but
not happening.
Not happening, no. We still have the crowded open houses and, multiple offers, and so that's what's happening.
Wow, so it's still happening. Now, how long has that been happening?
That's been happening a very, very long time. Probably just after the pandemic really like locked us down, and then we weren't really able to do real estate for a while. We weren't even able to show houses.
Okay.
Right after we were released from that hold, it just went haywire. Everybody was moving. There was people coming out from the cities, looking for homes. That a lot of people were working from home. So now that they didn't have to live in the city, so they wanted to move out to the suburbs. So there was a lot of draw for bigger houses that had, offices and maybe pools and things like that. So yeah, and it's been continuous.
Okay. Yeah. So about over 2 years now, I guess that everything is moving along. All right. So, so the people, you talked about people coming from the city, but is that where most of the people are coming from? Or do you know that? That's always an interesting thing. Because, people say everybody's leaving Long Island. Everybody's moving, right? But there's people coming, right? I mean, because the houses are being sold. And where are they coming from?
So a lot of people are actually... what I'm finding, and I'm mostly predominantly on the North Shore, Setauket, Stony Brook, Smithtown area. We're getting a lot of people that are influxing from working for Stony Brook University. They're coming in for Brookhaven Labs. So people are there are jobs that are being created. Fellows, doctors are coming in. So we still have a huge influx coming to the area. People that are leaving are more of older people, or maybe going down south, but there are still a lot of people coming from the city. So, and we ask them when you come to an open house, where are you coming from? Just politely, trying to get
it's good to get those statistics.
Right,
yeah,
exactly. But you do have a lot of people coming from Queens and Brooklyn, and
and young people, a lot of younger people, right? A lot of
All right. So, I mean, we all know better than renting, you should own a home. I mean, that's the most important thing. You get your biggest bang for your buck. Maybe not initially, right? Not that you don't, but, it's a scary thing when you buy your first home or even a second home. Like, what's the thing that everybody says?
Yeah, but the rental market, it's ridiculous, right? The prices are very, very high, and it's as competitive as to buy a house. It's as competitive to rent a house. They're taking 50 applications for every rental house.
Yes,
really,
and the rents are high.
Well, that was my next thing. Like the rents. So really, kind of when you work the numbers out, it kind of almost makes sense to figure out how to buy that home, right?
Yes.
At least you own it, and now you have equity in the home and that type of thing. So it's really a good thing.
Yes.
All right.
And there are a lot of new programs out there. They're coming up with different ways that can help, the first-time home buyers, even still with the higher interest rate. So it's still a good time to buy.
Yeah,
it just is.
And it always is. I mean, really, that, like you said, it should be an asset from a financial advisor standpoint in your portfolio down the line. I mean, it's always good to have that, because then you have options. When you rent, not so much, But, so Mary, how's your experience been so far?
It's great.
Well, when did you start?
Love it. I got licensed in December.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm already a veteran. First of all, I have to say, and again, this is something you see in Gina's agency. This training, there's like, I have had more training and more opportunities to ask questions and learn and get help from everybody who works there. Fellow agents, when I'll ask, such and such, they're not like, I'm not going to help you because I want that, I want to make that money, not you. They're right there. We're working together, right? Gina fosters this. So I've gotten so much education just from the agency, and then of course being out in the trenches. I come from a mental health background. I just said to Gina tonight, mental health and real estate marries perfectly, because people, you got these despondent people who've looked at 20, 30 houses, and their house has been sold and they have nowhere to go, and their closing date is coming up and they can't get an accepted offer because they don't have enough cash to beat out somebody else. And dealing with all of the issues that come out, and the panic that comes out of it, and the despondency, we're never going to find a place, or
right.
I really have to hold people's hands and walk them through the process.
That's huge. And I guess it's kind of like your analyst, you're helping them with their mental and their real estate needs,
100%.
right?
I
mean, it's just
absolutely a little bit of background. I do have my master's degree in psychology, and I was a therapist for many, many years.
Get out, okay.
Yes, and so I slowly morphed into being, a real estate broker. But I feel like I use my expertise in that area constantly all day long, because I think the most important thing when you're working with different people is to be able to carry them from where they are to where they want to go with the least amount of stress possible.
Absolutely.
So you're really managing people's emotions on a daily basis and just trying to give them things that they need to know, but not too much, so that they get overwhelmed.
Right.
Right. So it really is. You use it.
Well, I love to hear that, like with the agency too, that everybody helps each other. It's interesting because we feel that, oh my God, it's always a competition. But in reality, listen, there's so much business out there. And quite frankly, if you help each other, really the whole agency benefits, right? And do that much better.
We go out and socialize together, Look for us at Longwood Day tomorrow. I'll give a shout out to Andrea. She and I have a table at Longwood Day tomorrow.
Okay.
And we're working
And it's supposed to be a nice weekend, right?
It's going to be gorgeous.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Well, we're getting close to the commercial break. So this is the financial chick, Denise Nostrom, the company's Diversified Financial Solutions. I help you look for financial solutions when you feel like there are none. So today we're talking about real estate. So for all your real estate needs, Northshore Realty Properties. So stay after the break. We have more to come. Welcome back. This is Denise Nostrom, the financial chick. My company's in Medford, and you can reach me at 631-758-8691 or visit my website at financialchickshow.com. I'm here to help you on your financial journey. It's definitely been a rough week for me. Over the years, things change, and I'm here to help you navigate all those changes. Well, one of the pieces of most people's puzzles, if not the majority of the people's puzzles, is real estate. So, when I work with people to kind of look at their assets and their liabilities, home ownership is probably one of the biggest things, or people that want to get a second home or looking to sell their home. So today I have with me Gina Lollo, and I have Mary Calamia. So they are, we have the owner, Gina, of Northshore Properties Realty, and Mary Calamia, who is Mary Calamia, who is, I told you it's been a rough week.
This is why we all day drink.
well, we didn't.
Not yet.
Right, exactly. Is we should have brought the flask with us, but I don't know. They wouldn't look too kindly on this today. You know what I mean?
Three women here who are crazed.
Well, and then we talked before the show, right? That I said, listen, we were all gonna we need a nap, so we were gonna just kind of come on here and really not talk and just say, listen, we're gonna put some music on today and just all take that half-hour nap, But really, all right. So we're talking about real estate today. So basically, we want to go through the process of somebody looking for a home. What should they expect when they come to see either one of you ladies?
Well, it depends if they're a buyer or if a seller. Okay. Right? So I guess we can say what the typical life in the day in the life, of a seller. Okay. They're usually very, very overwhelmed with making sure that their home is perfect and, looking beautifully and kept, and especially if they have children and pets and things. So they're very overwhelmed with that aesthetic. So what I really like to do is really take everything else besides that and take the stress away from them. So if just rely on what I'm telling you, and we're going to go step by step by step, and we're going to get from here to there. Mm-hmm. So I really do tell them everything they're going to expect along the way. So how we're going to handle the open houses, how are we going to handle the, private appointments? Are we going to accompany these appointments? Are you going to be home and not home? And if the preference is not to be there, because you really want to remove them from the situation and have them not be emotional. Because it really is.
I'm sure it's a big emotional thing.
It's very difficult because it really truly is a business transaction, but it's very difficult for people. So that's why the realtor in the middle is handling most of that. So you kind of take the emotion away because they're leaving their home, and you kind of make it okay for them. If you're making sure you're bringing through qualified buyers, you're protecting their home, you're protecting their interests. And really communicating with them the most. You really want to keep that ongoing communication because that is huge.
Would you say, I'm going to ask a question because so we've never really talked about the seller end as much as the buyer end in my trainings, that a lot of the time people think that their house is worth, because they heard my neighbor said this house went for that, getting them to agree on that selling price can be.
Yes. So to make a joke, everybody knows a realtor, right? And everybody has a realtor, an uncle that's a realtor, or somebody in Ohio that's a realtor, in Florida that's a realtor. And everybody is giving this person real estate advice. So it is very difficult to you really need to have them trust you first. So if they trust you first, they're going to, you're going to be able to convince them that what you're doing and how you're pricing the property is proper. Right. So I go over the comps with my clients. They see exactly what I see. I explain why we're going to look at this comp versus this comp and why your house is closer to this one and not so close to this one and why. So sometimes, they're a little not in reality. A lot of people have, they look at the Zestimate on Zillow and, it's,
Zillow.
Yeah. So it's so much higher than, well, you're only telling me my house is $495, but Zillow says it's $550.
Yeah. Zillow, the friend info, right? All the same.
But I saw it on the internet. It must be true.
Yes, that's true too. So, but that's a big hurdle that we, overcome. But if you give the proper statistics and you're looking at the comps and you're reviewing it with your client and explaining what your thought process is, it really makes a big difference. So some people don't even want to be involved. Some people all right, whatever you say, and other people really want to be there throughout the entire process. So you kind of have to be very accommodating to different people's personalities.
Right.
So that's where the psychology comes in.
I was going to say, and I'm sure that's a big help. For sure.
Right.
For sure. Right. So we had the sellers, and what about the buyers?
The buyers are like a whole different breed. There's a lot of expectations about how much they can get for what they have to work with. So the first thing a buyer really, really needs to be aware of is they need to find out what they can afford. And so that means getting with a lender. And we work with a lot of lenders. Get with a lender and find out get that pre-approval. It's not just, you have to be pre-approved. You have to get all your financial information into them. And you have to know that you're probably bidding on a house more than it's selling for. So you have to have that leeway in there with what you have. It's also a huge disappointment when people find out that, I'm putting, $25,000 down isn't enough. It isn't enough. And they also need to know that when they're bidding over the price of a house, if the house doesn't appraise, the seller is not going to want to go into a transaction with them unless they're willing to make up the difference on that. So they need to have a lot of cash to work with. And so you start with that pre-approval. You get, you have a lender, you get your pre-approval, you find a house, God willing, you get an accepted offer. Then the house has to go, you bring in an inspector, and you need to do that very, very quickly because they're still showing that house. It's a very competitive market.
Right. It is. It is highly stressful for.
I was going to say, it must be a big disappointment. And I hear from my clients too, like, I lost this house, I lost that house.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
It's a very difficult market for everyone. So the seller, the buyer, the real estate agent, the attorney, it really is, because you could have an accepted offer on a property, and the very next day somebody, came in and they outbid you, and now your accepted offer is no longer an offer, and that's it. They're off to the next person.
You could have paid, $500 for a home inspection and still lose that house.
Wow.
Which is why after you go to your home inspection, you want to go to contract as quickly as possible. And once you're in full contract, that's it. It's now we want to get that mortgage. We want to get that mortgage commitment, title has to clear, and we all want to get to the closing table.
Right, as quickly as possible.
We all want to, including us. Nobody wants to get to the closing table more than we do.
Well, speaking of that, as far as that process right now there's not a lot of supply and there's a lot of demand, but the closing process, you're finding it to be typically longer right now, shorter, or what's happening with regard to that?
I think it's pretty much the same.
But the same, okay.
Because the closing process is basically, the person has to either go for their mortgage or not. It might be a cash buyer, but if they have to go for their mortgage, that's still the same kind of time frame.
Okay.
And then you have to do title searches and maybe sometimes new surveys. But all of that is really, within a 2-month period of time, generally speaking. So it really hasn't changed much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
There is a lot more cash buyers.
That was my next question, yes. Gina. You read my mind, girl.
Look at that.
So and that's interesting. That obviously that makes things go a lot quicker.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's a disadvantage to those people going for some type of mortgage.
It's a big disadvantage.
And it's hard. I feel bad for younger people, that are in this mix that are just, ready to go, but then they keep getting disappointed.
Yes. And we find that a lot. And I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, and I feel terrible. I really do. But I always promise them, we're not going to give up until we find the perfect home for you. And it always works out. Awesome. I said, we just have to keep going, and the right one will come along, and you're going to know it. And we've never let anybody down yet.
You just don't give up.
Yeah.
You guys sound like you love what you do. And that's the most important thing. And that comes through. And you have satisfied clients, you know. So why don't you tell my listeners a little bit, your agency, how they can get in contact with you if they're looking to buy or sell.
Okay.
These are your ladies.
Wonderful. All right. Well, we're Northshore Properties Realty. We're located in Setauket on Main Street. The number is 631-625-4500. You can find us on the web at NorthshorePropertiesRealty.com. We are a boutique. We actually were nominated several years in a row for Best Boutique, Best of Long Island Boutique.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we take pride in really our customer service. We love our clients. We have parties with our clients. We talk to our clients years later. We don't lose touch with our client. We really are a family. So, if you'd like to join us and be part of our family and part of our, raving fans.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
So you're women-owned business too, which I love. So with that in mind, I want to wish everybody out there a happy Mother's Day, whether it be fur babies or human babies or even those dads that are doing double duty. So I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank both of you for joining me today. This was a great show and I think a lot of great information. And remember, let's try to do better and be better. Have a great weekend. Till next Friday.
Advisory services offered through Blackridge Asset Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities are offered through Peak Brokerage Services, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC. Blackridge Asset Management and Diversified Financial Solutions are separate and independent entities from Peak Brokerage Services.